Going on, y'all? I'm gonna react to this little Inside Star Citizen today. Let's check out the new Saber.
Each May, where we celebrate the might and majesty of the UEE vehicle fleet, and this week we're exploring the
The might and
of one of
majesty.
the rarest vehicles in the game.
Big buzzwords, right?
Of a new design sure to set the verse on fire, and a long-requested variant finally making its debut.
Get it? Set the verse on fire with the Firebird.
So let's stop yapping and get to showing. I'll be here when you get back.
You better be. That's pretty cool right there. Now, if you're able to do something like that and fix injuries, and that's what it looks like, I like that. That'd be pretty wicked. But I want to be able to take their suit off of them. This ship right here, man. Hold on, bro. I love the build of this ship right here. This thing looks phenomenal. It's a travesty that it's locked behind an Intel purchase.
So the Saber Raven was introduced at CitizenCon 2017 in Frankfurt. It was an exclusive deal with Intel. It is a EMP interdictor fighter, carries
the best EMP, mind you.
It has an additional computer on board for helping do data running, and is really just a cool looking ship. You can see the resemblance to the Saber, but it is its own unique shape. Performance-wise, over the years, because of its exclusive nature, it's sort of never really...
Look at this noob. If you guys are flying and you don't know, turn this off. Turn this off. The G save. Make sure that's
because
off.
Of its exclusive nature, it's sort of never really peaked in terms of popularity, but the owners that have it love it, and you always see them at ship meets in the game. Recently, we completed gold standard on the base Saber, which highlighted some of the issues with the Raven itself. It has sort of been left behind in terms of art and gameplay upgrades over the years. So we set about gold standing the Raven and utilizing some of the work.
He says left behind, but the cockpit on it is miles ahead.
So
some ships.
Pass on the Saber Raven. It gets referenced a lot as gold standard. What I think for me personally, the way I look at it is kind of our current standard. It's bringing a ship that we've done work on in the past and kind of ticking off all the current.
That is wicked. That right there is wicked. The fact that this has weapon racks on the outside of it that pop out like that is fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, compatible with everything we now do on our current release ships. The main pass that we needed to do on the Raven was to add all of its functional component bays. So now, rather than it just being a shell, and you can't really do much with it, each of the component bays now have a animating opening door. All of the components are accessible by the player, and that really just gets the vehicle.
When we're able to pull them out and change those with components we find in the verse is going to be crazy.
Network work coming online and the ability to interact with the individual ship items, that ship is now kind of ticked off, ready, good to go. Some of the other work that was needed as a kind of byproduct of bringing it up to current day standards is working on the dashboard.
Look at that MFD setup, man. The way that those fold down like that into your lap when you get in, that's one of the coolest ones in the game right there.
On there. So now the buttons are all interactive, and really it's just about giving some love to some of our older vehicles and bringing them up to kind of our current day standard.
Saber Firebird as of Alpha 3.2, 3.1. Let's see if we see any major differences. Let's see, we got the holes filled in here. Let's see. Major build differences, anything?
So this
all right, let's see. We have a side-by-side here, wings. This one's got some little aerodynamic ventilation there. This one doesn't have. Like I said, we got them holes filled in here. Almost looks like these are angled a little bit less. Am I wrong? Maybe it's just the shadow. They look a little stubbier.
Invictus, we're happy to announce that there is a new sibling to the Raven, and it's called the Saber Firebird. So
we got some fins added to it. These wasn't on the original Raven.
The Saber Firebird is a missile-based fighter, much like some of our other ships like the
We
Talon.
need them, man. We don't have enough missile ships. We got the Talon
chassis, but it has quite a few little visual tweaks that when you put them side by side, you'll notice that it is a completely different art style. And its main firepower is from its belly-mounted bespoke.
Oh, hold on, man. Hold on. So it's belly-mounted. Nice. So when you go, so then that would tell me then what this is going to be much better for dumbfiring, because if you look at most of our ships, they're wing-mounted missiles. whereas this one's gonna be belly mounted. When you done fire the wing mounted missiles, especially at ground targets, I just tend to hit the sides of whatever I'm trying to shoot. Because the way that it works, the missile doesn't go directly, if you're not locked on, it doesn't go directly to where your target indicator is. It kind of just flies straight. So the fact these are bottom mounted is phenomenal. That's how they should have all been. At least all the ships in the game that are solo fighters that you have no bay of, that you can sit in, you can only get in through the cockpit. Every one of those should have an undermounted missile system. At least one. You can have the missiles on the wings, fine. But give me a couple that are mounted in the bay of the ship, in the middle bay, you know?
Missile launcher, which holds 12 size 3 missiles.
So in the Sabre series, we have the base
12 size 3s. Wow. And right now we have unflareable missile types, man.
Very unique design, and we really felt like we could do more than what we've currently done with that vehicle chassis. Obviously, we wanted to make sure that it feels different enough from
if you look here, look at the differences. I can't stand this one. Look at them fat ass fins, and it just looks so generic, and this looks like if you bought the Sabre off of Wish. I know it's fucked up because this is the Sabre original, but this obviously is day and night better than this.
Different enough from the base Raven.
Looks wise, and I'm sure functionality wise. Like, look at them fat ass engines. Look at that. It's kind of like the Buccaneer. I feel like those are very easily hit, man.
So we did quite a lot of work. The actual full kind of top of the vehicle has pretty much been kind of remodeled. The main spine of the vehicle has a bunch of changes on it. When we looked at it and kind of decided what is really successful and what we want to build on, we really felt like the Raven is very, very sleek, whereas the base Sabre had these really nice kind of like tail fins and a nice kind of back end to it. So really, we kind of want to bring a bit of that inspiration back into the Firebird. So the main kind of visual change that you'll notice on the rear of the vehicle, it's got a slightly new thruster, and it's got these nice sort of wings.
I love the sleek design. It just looks so futuristic.
The rear tail end. A lot of kind of more subtle changes have been done on the vehicle as well. When you kind of first look at them side by side, we really wanted it to be recognizable that it was built on the Sabre chassis. So we've kept a lot of the key shapes. But as you start to kind of like get into the details, you'll notice the wings.
I wouldn't have been mad at them if they would have left those holes, though.
Some work done to them, and we decided to add some.
When I look at it,
just to kind of strengthen
and bear with me here, because it's not exactly identical, but they all kind of seem to look alike when it comes to some of these ships they're coming out with. Let me explain. If you look at it, an unexperienced player, mind you, probably not people that have been playing, but an unexperienced player coming in, the F8C, the Buccaneer to an extent, the C1, and now the Sabre Firebird almost all look the same. Like, and they're really going to look the same to a new player. If I can see the resemblance, then a new player is going to not be able to tell until they figure out on their MFD that they can read what ship they're fighting.
That you know, built strength in the vehicle as a whole. As you kind of go to the underside of the ship, that's where the big functionality change comes. So now in the belly of the ship, we've got a big missile rack, so it all opens up and then we can launch the missiles out from underneath the Firebird.
Compared to a lot of our other ships that have missile racks just bolted under the wing.
Yeah, just like I was saying, that's
mounted into the
just like I was saying, that's going to make it far easier to hit ground units.
Hull that are sort of firing forwards. This is canted at a downwards angle, so you get a really nice visual when they fire down and curve up. And also we've adjusted the missile controller on it, so rather than being restricted to a set amount, it can fire up to a complete row at a time. So you get to see a huge volley of row by row come out.
Whoa.
A complete
row by row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm assuming there's a sixth one here. It looks like it. So this ship can shoot 6 missiles at a time. That's kind of busted because every other ship can only shoot 4. So let's see.
You see a huge volley of row by row come out. So we have a lot of fighters in the game, but we don't have a lot that their main focus is missiles. I could mention that the Talon Shrike is pretty much the main missile-based.
If you look, even the Talon Shrike can only load 4 missiles at a time. And with the unflareable missiles that we have in the game, this ship's going to be busted, y'all.
A light to medium.
This ship is going to be busted.
This adds another option into the mix. And it also builds on all the work we did for the Sabre Raven Gold standard to help get a brand new ship. In terms of who is the Firebird for, just like anyone who enjoys combat, this is a ship for you, especially if you prefer to sort of not engage direct in dogfights and sort of lurk on the periphery of combat and help chip away at the targets. So that's the Sabre Firebird, available at Invictus. We're looking forward to see the reception of it and letting a new generation of backers
I like it.
experience that classic
I firmly like the look of it.
In-game performance.
Capability-wise is to be seen. I haven't been in 3.2, 3.1 yet to see how it holds up. Or if it even is viable in the game, or if I gotta pay cash for it.
But no.
Smokey and the Bandit.
No, Smoking the Bandit.
I hate you.
Mutual.
If they would have gave it a Pontiac Firebird camo, I would have bought it for sure.
In the top three questions
Just for the memes.
Number 1 and 2 are when and where are the Bounty Merchantman and Endeavour. The third one is where is my medical.
Where in the fuck is the Merchantman? I know it's a big ship and I know it's got a lot to be done to it, but bro, I want it. That I'm dropping the money on it, bro. When that ship comes out, I need that. Let's check out the Nursa. And I got a hot take for medical gameplay for y'all. Give me just a second.
So we're finally proud to present the RSI Ursa Medivac.
Yeah, because that's the one they really wanted you to focus on.
So where are we going to use the Medivac? It is designed for use in a sort of combined arms ground assault scenario.
Yes. Now let me stop him right there. Let me explain something to y'all. In my opinion, medical gameplay is not fleshed out enough yet for you to need something like this. The only thing about this thing that is viable is that tier 3 medbed that allows you to respawn if you was doing like bunker missions or whatnot. Granted, it is nice and it's a cool little thing to have if you want to go do some saving missions. But let me explain something to you. Every time you take that medical beacon, it's a 50-50 shot that you're going to get killed. It's a 50-50 that is somebody hustling you, then they're going to murder you and take all your loot. Until we have a stricter system in play to keep that from happening, medical gameplay is not very viable, as well as a lot of people aren't going to wait 20-30 minutes for you to come answer their beacon. I'm personally not. I do not mind a bit to sit here and go re-get my gun, re-get a little bit of armor, spend $5,000-$10,000 versus and get right back in the game versus laying on the ground for 30 minutes and then not knowing if you're actually going to show up and help me or rob me. This is cool, and this is very viable if you have a friend that gets out there and gets injured. But to just be an individual player, solo out here trying to be a medical person, man, just use a fucking ship with a medical bed on it. Because as cool as this is, until we have a system in play for murdering medical units that are responding to a beacon, just because you're a medical unit don't mean you should have a forever protection. But if you are a medic, and you're working on your medic missions, and somebody drops a beacon, you accept it, you travel there, and they kill you, that should be the same equivalent as to killing a police officer in real life. That should come with a tier 5 crime stat and the highest maximum sentence you can get in prison. That should be the top of the food chain as far as amount of time you can get. Because without that, medical gameplay cannot thrive. Medical gameplay is too risky at this point to be viable. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think, though. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if there's something I'm missing. But that's just how I see it. A 30-minute wait for a possible revive is just not really worth it to me at this point. Now, when we get Death of a Spaceman and death really matters substantially, possibly. We'll see.
When you kind of think about all the different gameplay loops we have and all the different ways that our players like to explore the universe, we have a lot of air support. We have the Pisces, we have med bays in our big ships, but we don't really have anything that's ground vehicle based that can kind of be that response unit to really kind of get people out of trouble, to come in and heal our players.
You have people on the ground, in vehicles, in gravel bikes, on foot, assaulting a location such as a distribution center.
I really wish I would have had more context on that little firefight there.
To respawn back
because it looked like he was getting shot the hell out of and just shot that guy twice and killed him.
Parent mothership a long way away. You need something that can keep up with the assault, and that's where the medevac sits.
It fills that gap in our lineup that allows the players to be able to go out, explore our universe, and have less concerns about
this right here. This NERSA is what's going to make org gameplay good, though. I believe having that NERSA there for people to respawn at if they die in org gameplay rather than all the way back at the station is invaluable. Is absolutely invaluable, because that's one of the most annoying things about trying to do a large scale fight in an org is if you're not in a medical bed anywhere near where it's happening.
Activities they're getting up to, knowing that they've got a medical vehicle.
That's a pretty cool feature, the drag. The fact you can drag them into the bed, that is cool.
Exterior-wise,
this
main kind of big difference
this system is a great idea, and it could be a fantastic gameplay loop, and I would love to give it a try, but it's just so risky.
As well as additional paints, and these will be applicable to the base earth.
And that right there, another thing, I understand the red and the blue because it's a medical. I don't really care for either of those colors though.
Current standards, so we've got proper interaction panels now for the side entrance and the rear entrance, and then the biggest change really is on the rear of the vehicle. The ramp or the rear door previously split in the middle and opened up, but that doesn't really make sense when you think of a medical vehicle. You want to be able to ease the transition in as easy as possible. So it's got a proper kind of rear ramp on it now. The door folds down and just allows much easier access into the rear of the vehicle. Inside,
Well, if we look here, it looks like we got a couple spaces for our med pens, weapons rack. I'd love to see an armor bay in here, though, an armor rack like this. I want to see those physicalized in game where I can view the armors that I have on the ship without going into the inventory system. And I know it's coming. I just feel like they're kind of dragging their feet on that. I would like, that's not only a cool aesthetic to have on the ship, but it's viable. If you're picking up somebody that's out there in underwear because they was incapacitated and robbed on a planet with atmosphere, they're going to need a flight suit. Depending on the temperature, the situation, you know, I would like to see that brought into the game sooner than later. Soon. Trademark.
It's all new.
Soon, TM.
It's very clean and clinical. Our artist that works on it, Hadi, he's done like a fantastic job of really bringing up.
These are cool. This is a cool idea, but what does that do though? Like, what does that bring to the game? What can I put in there? I don't feel that's very viable other than something cool to look at.
The kind of the level
I feel like this time could have been spent better.
Like a purpose-built space. On the left-hand side, you've got a weapons locker that also has storage for your med guns and your utility items. We've then got a clean sink area. It feels very clinical and clean. And then as you move towards the front of the vehicle, you've got an extra seat. Looking at kind of current ambulances and medical vehicles, you generally have your patient and then somewhere for the person that is kind of doing that treatment to be. We've got the medical terminal where it allows you to treat the player or the patient. And then right at the front, we've got all the component bays and everything else that's needed for making the vehicle work.
So the big feature of the RSI Ursa Medevac is, of course, the med bed in the back. It is a tier 3 med bed, and the way med beds work in the game is changing. Tier 3 historically.
So drop down in the comments if tier 3 is the one that heals the biggest, worst of worst injuries, or if that's the tier 1 bed, because I'm honestly not 100% sure. I don't own a vehicle with a medical bed. So let me know.
Did not allow respawn on them. We're changing that to allow respawn, but at a much reduced distance from the vehicle. So you really need to keep this vehicle up with the attack to get the maximum use out of it.
We took a lot of inspiration from some of our other kind of med bays on our other vehicles, and generally, you know, we just try to think about if you're trying to treat someone that's been injured, what do you need, what's available for you. Obviously, we looked at ambulances and real life inspiration.
That change is not exclusive to the Medevac. That is an across-the-board change. So ships such as the C8R Pisces and Cutlass Red will also benefit from that. But of course, those are much larger targets in a combat scenario, so you would want to keep them a little bit further away.
So yeah, man, I'm gonna just say in my opinion, it's a cool little vehicle, but it's just not a viable option right now. It'd be fun to run around with for your friends, but if you're a solo player and you're looking at this as in it could help you be a better medic, I'm gonna just say I think you should pass on it. If you're a solo player, if you're with an org, you got a bunch of friends and you guys do a lot of dangerous missions and you can get some value out of it, hey, more power to you, buddy. Whatever makes you happy. But in my opinion, for my gameplay personally, this isn't going to help me.
So that's the Ursa Medevac. It is a great support vehicle for ground vehicle players, and especially those who want to support other more hostile engagements. And I didn't mean to imply that we picked this over doing the Merchantman or the Endeavour, but a lot of people ask me this. Every single event in Reddit, Spectrum, so where's the Medevac? So, it's here now.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Saber Raven finally gets a little of the love and attention it's needed for some time. That the Saber Firebird is here with a host of missile-laden destruction alongside with it. And that the Ursa Medevac is rolling up with a fantastic change to how medbeds work and new liveries for all Ursas to enjoy. Now, don't forget to tune into this year's Invictus All Vehicles Roundtable.
Okay, so in recap here, what it sounds like is they're doing some upgrades to the Raven's build, is what it kind of sounds like to me. They're going to make it fly a little bit different. They're going to streamline it, bring it up to specs with the other ships here. But what I also heard was that Firebird is basically a missile ship, and I know a lot of people in the community and in the Discords that I'm a part of are really hoping for, I don't want to say a remake because that's a bad word, but something that would be similar to the Raven. The Raven being the best EMP ship in the game and locked behind the purchase of an Intel product is kind of fucked up. Now, myself included, was hoping to see an EMP option with that ship, but you know, if that's not in CIG's plans, it's not in his plans. But this has been my first react, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. If you found any value, hit a little sub for me, please. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great one. See you in the verse. I've been the Traveler. Thanks for taking the journey, buddy.